hair. Where is that hair even? Get out of my face, hair. Hello. God, I would have to edit so much of this already, I could tell. Hi, and welcome to my very first YouTube video for Dairy Free State. And oh my gosh, it is such a long time coming. I can't believe that I haven't done one yet. I mean, I've been blogging for 7 years about dairy-free living and blogging about everything else for even longer, like 13 years, something like that. I think I was 19 when I started. But this is pretty exciting because this is my first ever YouTube video for my own blog. I've helped other people make YouTube videos, but I've never done one of my own. My brand new camera, my brand new channel. So welcome. I'm so excited. I've been talking to people about doing this for a while, and so here I am, I guess. That's really all there is to it. I'm trying to find different mediums, different modes of delivery, I guess, for different topics on my blog, because I'm moving away from just dairy-free blogs and some of the content that I've been writing in the past, like a lot of reviews and interviews and things like that. There's still going to be all of that, but I also want to start sharing other people's stories, sharing my own story, probably doing some video diaries and things like that. And then also sharing more of my roots, where I came from and why I'm interested in cooking and baking and recipes in the first place. So this has been something that has been on my mind for a really long time, a topic that I've wanted to cover for a really long time. And I honestly thought it was going to be its own blog. I thought I was going to be putting this in its own category on a completely separate website. And I actually still own the domain. And it was going to be about Pyrex and nostalgia. And it was going to be about old recipes and also Pyrex containers and other vintage stuff that I collect at, that I get from flea markets and antique stores and things like that. But instead of making it a separate entity, I thought it actually made more sense to do it all in one. So that's what I'm doing on this channel. So this is kind of going to be a shorter video, and there's not going to be any kind of demonstration or anything. But one thing I wanted to share was just some of kind of like a preview for what I'm planning on sharing nostalgia-wise on the channel. I'm hoping to get these done a couple per month, maybe. But old recipes are a big thing that I'm into because they were something. They weren't old at the time, but they were something that my grandma was into. She was really into recipes, and she was really into cookbooks, and she kept all of her old recipes in containers like this. So we're going to be going through this a little bit, and she also just collected a lot of cookbooks. So in addition to my grandma's cookbooks, I also just have a bunch of old cookbooks from flea markets, and I've gotten them as gifts from people because they know I'm really interested in them. And the more writing in them, the better, honestly. I like it when people write all kinds of notes in them and talk about the recipes that they liked and what their favorite thing was or who liked what. And my grandma's cookbooks are a lot like that. There's a lot of notes. So we're going to go through a couple of them here so you can see some of the things that I want to be actually exploring more and cooking out of, and coming up with dairy-free modernized versions of some of the recipes, or just kind of sharing some of the ones that sound totally weird now. Like, why would we ever make that? Maybe we'll make them, you know? So that's kind of my thought. It's more just passing on that tradition. I think if you don't share the things that were important to your grandparents, you know, those positive, you know, community building, skill building things that have stories and history behind them, and you lose it, that's such a shame. So in an interest of keeping all of that stuff alive, and well, I thought, what better way to do it than to share it on a channel. Also, I have been introduced to the old recipes Reddit, and boy, is it fun. Someone recommended it to me, and oh my god, it's so fun. And everybody's obsessed with peanut butter bread right now, which I had never heard of before. I'd never heard of peanut butter bread in my life, and so I'm going to be trying to make that as well. And I'm probably going to be doing some other videos of other things that I try, but the ones where I'm just sitting here will be more kind of like a discussion about things that, historical things or memories or my personal video diary. So, that being said, let's just cut right to it. I'm going to share some of the things that I wanted to show you today. My grandma has had a lot of cookbooks, and I didn't inherit all of them. She had a ton. Like, if I had taken all of her cookbooks, I would have had to get a whole bookshelf just for them. And sometimes I think maybe that was a better choice, but I tried to pick some of the best ones that had the most writing that it seemed like she enjoyed the most. After she died, my grandpa said, hey, feel free to take whatever you want. I ended up taking a lot of her cookbooks and a lot of her embroidery and cross-stitch stuff, because those were two things that we were both really, really interested in. And my aunts took some other of her cookbooks as well. So there is still some more in the family, but these are a few of the ones that I took. There's more to share besides these. But I just wanted to show, she had a lot of these cookbooks where they came from a specific organization. So you can see this is WAGO. It's a radio station in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. So at the end of the cookbook, there's a little note that says, the following sponsors of our radio program, Highlights with Julie, have made it possible for WAGO to bring you this book. I thank them for their interest and cooperation and hope that you will take a minute to personally thank them too. And then there's, these old companies, like King's Laundry, Bucky's Food Center, that helped sponsor to make this book a possibility. And this was from 1971 with highlights from Judy. And God, what a background. It's like these twigs just getting in the way of all of the writing. And then my grandma just wrote all over it, all of the recipes that she liked. And I don't know if you know this, but recipes aren't copyrightable, but the directions for a recipe are copyrightable. So you can't copyright a set of ingredients because there's so many, there's only a certain amount of ways to make cookies, right? But the way that you describe what you're doing is the copyrightable portion of a recipe. And so, but it turns out, and I don't know if you can read this, but it says, this book is not copyrighted because we want it to be a sharing book. The recipes are available to all of you and your friends. I'm sure that everyone who has contributed to the book, either with a recipe mailed in or phoned in on the programs, will want the recipes enjoyed above all else. Recipes being what they are, there may be some of these that are credited in another book to someone else. We hope no one will be upset by this and assure you we have copied the recipes down as given to us and in good faith. So she's really trying to cover her bases in this Judy Miller who put this together. But yeah, my grandma collected this, and you can see, there's splatters all over it, all kinds of stuff. It's really a well-loved cookbook, and she's got little notes that say I don't know if you can see the good apple crisp, good. In some of her cookbooks, she puts stars by things. There's stuff that says try. And what my grandpa told me is that what my grandma would do is she would sit down in front of the TV and she would read cookbooks like you would read novels. So she would sit down and she would read these recipes, and then when something sounded interesting, she would make notes of it and make sure that she tried it and everything like that. And then if something was good, she would say, this was good, try this again, or I made these changes, I liked it this way, whatever, so that she could go back. It looks like she did, in this cookbook, she definitely used the dessert section the most. And you can see, on the front, like I said, she's got, a lot of things selected. So there's home canned tomato juice, apple crisp, Boston clam chowder soups. We didn't know that clam chowder is in her soup. She had to make sure to add that context. Macaroni and cheese. That's in the soup section. That is a surprise. Rhubarb dessert. Something beach brown. Hash brown something. Section 5. So we'll find that. We'll find the hash brown thing in section 5. And then carrot cake, lemon cheesecake, white bread, and fudge. So those were the recipes that she found the most interesting to put on the cover to make a point of. So say we go to section 5. So I'm in section 7. Oh, and she even corrected it. It says peas, and she corrected it to say peas. So she was even looking out for the cookbook author. And section 7 is casseroles, meat dishes, wild game, and soups. So there you go. And of course it's a green bean casserole in here because it's not Wisconsin without, oh my God, there's like 3 green bean casseroles in here. We did have like a green bean casserole off. Busy day beef stew, is that what she, no. It looks like she said something about hash browns. There's mud hen in here. I don't even know what a mud hen is, to be honest with you. Pork chops and rice, chicken and wine. So these are all kind of the main. Country fried pork chops, quick macaroni and cheese. I kind of really want to try some of these macaroni and cheeses with dairy-free cheese just to see how they come out. Rice hot dish, quick chili, man's style. I need to show you this. Quick chili, man's style. From Gordon Hafer-Baker, Stevens Point. Want to eat like a man? I'm gonna eat this. Hamburger rice pie. I do not see this hash brown thing she talked about. Poor man's what is poor man's lobster? A northern fish. Hash brown cheese potatoes. Is that what she was doing? I don't know. There's hash brown cheese potatoes that sound really good. Do not thaw them. Will not thaw them. So that's kind of the thing that I really enjoy about these is she makes notes in all of them. And what we'll do is we'll kind of go recipe by recipe. So I'll what I'm planning on doing in the future is not just like flying through one of these and going, oh, look at this, but I'll go through it in depth and we'll pick a recipe or two and then we'll make them. And we'll make them the way that I would make them and see how they taste, like slightly modernized and dairy-free. We're not going to use lard. We're not going to use, regular butter or something like that. So, I actually just flipped open to Light and Lovely dinner rolls and also like a banana bread and a date nut bread. So those might be interesting. And I am working on a sourdough starter right now. So like what could we make with that? How could we make these things low FODMAP? How could we make them dairy-free? I think it's kind of an interesting challenge to see how we can take these old recipes and bring them into the modern day and have them fit special diets that people never really like thought about or talked about all that much. I might say like vegetarian was like a really radical idea. So anything beyond that's like, I told my grandma that I couldn't have meat and, I didn't eat meat when I was growing up. I eat some meat now. And she'd be like, oh, well, this meat's 98% lean, so it's not even meat. That has nothing to do with it. That has everything to do with fat content. Here's from the Ladies Auxiliary Oshkosh area number 267 Fraternal Order of Eagles. From our kitchen to yours. This was also from Oshkosh. Oh my gosh, and there's like a housewives thing in the beginning. What year is this? Take time for 10 things. Oh my gosh, this is going to be fun to read through. And the pictures are really good. The art's really good. I forgot how good this one was. Is that a McDonald's? There's ads in here too for like Ponderosa Steakhouse and stuff. Oh, this is going to be fun. Look at this. A really old McDonald's ad. Oh, this is neat. I'm not sure what year this is. I'm looking to see if I can find it. This is 1955, 1957. So this probably was from the 50s. Ham supper for 225. There's a recipe in here for 225 people. I just want to let you know. At the very end of this, there's all of this. Let's see. Gosh, I want to know how much this cost, or what year this was. I know how much this cost because apparently it was $1.75. And the number to call was in here for getting additional copies of Our Kitchen to Yours sent to you. But there's literally a page that says tea refreshments for 300 people. 12 large sandwich loaves sliced lengthwise, 6 white and 6 brown. Fillings for fancy sandwiches. Oh my God. Velveeta is part of it. Velveeta's part of it. Okay. Hash supper for 100, baked beans for 100, cabbage salad for 100, ham supper for 225, braised beef for 200, turkey dinner for 250, and chicken shortcake, I don't even know what that is, for 135. You guys, this is going to be a fun read. I feel like there's got to be a year in here that I'm missing. To preserve a husband. Oh, wow. Okay, I gotta read you this. Because this is really good. Okay, so the title is To Preserve a Husband. Be careful of your selection. Do not choose too young and take only such varieties as have been reared in a good moral atmosphere. When once decided upon and selected, let that part remain forever settled and give your entire thought to preparations for domestic use. Some insist on keeping them in a pickle, while others keep them in hot water. Even poor varieties may be made sweet, tender, and good by garnishing them with patience, well sweetened with smiles and flavored with kisses to taste. Then wrap them in a mantle of charity. Keep warm with a steady fire of domestic devotion, and serve with peaches and cream. When thus prepared, they will keep for years. So that's how you keep a husband. Good to know. Noted. Okay. So, and they've also have like an oven temperature chart in here and stuff. There's all kinds of good stuff. And she really liked the Good Christmas Cookie recipe on page 35. Easy Donuts on page 30. That sounds fun. Sour cream cookies, which she's got like 50 recipes for sour cream cookies, I swear to God. So I got to do that. Oven beef stew, lots of like meat stuff, liver dumplings. I'll be trying that. Peanut blossom cookies, but there's a lot of baking stuff on here that she really liked. And she also had a little, like a little sticker right here, really cute. So I'll be keeping an eye on this, and we're definitely going to go through this one in detail because it's really good. So look for From Our Kitchen to Yours. I will do a full video on this later. But I wanted to share a couple things before I took too long delving into these right now. So this book in particular, we're going to be spending a lot of time with. This was a $1 book. It was printed in, when did I figure it out? 1930. So this was a book from 1930. Lorraine Cooking. It probably belonged to my great grandma, I'm assuming. And this was an introduction of, and if you can see on here, like right there, those temperature numbers. This was the introduction of the temperature dial on an oven. So this was the first time they had a temperature dial in an oven, and they were like, here's how it works, and here's how here are the degrees that you're going to have to think about. And that is like the wildest thing ever. So there's this long description on everything that you have to do just to get the temperature dial to work, and I really want to talk about that because I think it's really cool. And this is like the 9th edition of it too, which is just really wild. So she had a couple things in here that she marked, including baking powder biscuits, which I think would be fun to make, another macaroni and cheese, scalloped tomatoes and cheese, which I have no idea how that tastes. We'll go through this one in much greater detail later. But the last thing I wanted to get to before I cut, actually 2 things I want to get to before I cut. This is something that I don't remember if I bought or if I got it as a gift, but I'll also be going through cookbooks like this. Let's get acquainted with your Hotpoint electric range. So information on, really specific products or things that come from the gas company, things like that. So you'll see here's like, they had a fryer on the range. So they have like golden fryer recipes, like things like that I think are kind of neat. There's a griddle that you can install. So just kind of like, here's all the different recipes you can use if you get this electric range. So I'll be sharing cookbooks like this along the way too. I have like, 200 ways to cook a potato or whatever, stuff like that. So those are kind of fun. But the last but not least thing I wanted to share was my mom actually has a couple of these as well, but this is the one that I've been holding on to. And it is a box of recipes that my grandma put together, some of which are typed up like this. Frozen oatmeal cookies. And sometimes it'll say who it came from. This one says Dorothy in the corner, which was my great aunt Dorothy. This one said Miriam. So you can see, like, was it a friend? Was it a family member? If she did it, sometimes she didn't write it down. Sometimes she didn't write it down. Anyway, some of these are like clippings. There's like this is like a recipe using Nestle semi-sweet chocolate and Kraft marshmallow cream. So she's got little clippings like that in here as well. But I thought it would be really fun to start to dig through these as well and start going through these recipes, especially the ones, chocolate crinkles made from, I don't remember, it says like Arvella or something like that. So I don't know who all these people are. And my mom might know who some of the people are, so that'll help, and I'll ask her. But some of these people, I'm not sure who they are, where they came from. Might have to ask my grandpa. And he might not even remember. I don't know, because these are so old. But I'm definitely going to be going through some of those recipes to see what we can recreate, or even just like read how she describes stuff. Like I said, I think she's got like 5 or 6 different recipes for sour cream cookies. So my plan is to, I mean, she had these kind of organized by section, but over time, I don't know if they're really as organized as they should be. So I'm kind of planning on taking them all out, reorganizing them based on the little tabs she has in here. She's got ones for seafood, soups, sauces, sandwiches, you know, putting them back together and then seeing like how many versions of this recipe does she have and what do they look like. So that's kind of the plan for these videos, in addition to, like I said, maybe some video diaries. So keep an eye out for that. Like I said, I'm going to kind of start going through these. We'll see. I mean, if there's something that you want to see on this channel that has to do with dairy-free living or chronic illness or old recipes or crafting, I mean, there's so many things that I do that I'm trying to incorporate into my blog that I never really did before, but are all parts of my life. So if there's something that you know that I do or you've seen me post about that you would like to see in video form, just let me know. I mean, this can be a living, breathing YouTube channel, and we'll figure it out together. But this was, you know, the first step into a long journey into YouTube, and I really hope you guys enjoy even just looking at old recipes. I really get a kick out of it. So I hope you have as much fun looking at old recipes as I do, and we'll try to bring them into the modern day and put them into practice and see what we get. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? It tastes terrible? Like, cool. That will never make it again. But I'm hoping we find some gems and find some things that we can repurpose and bring into today, and find some new things that we all would really like. I'm brand new to this. This is like the first time I've ever had to shill a YouTube channel, but likes, subscribes, that means a lot to me, because then you'll get notified anytime I post a new video. I don't know where to point yet because I'm brand new to this. So I'm just going to say like and subscribe. You're going to find any relevant information in the comments. I'll probably end up linking to blogs that I'll be writing about this. So always look down there. If I'm talking about a specific cookbook and you can buy it online, I will link to that in the comments. If there's a specific recipe that I try, I will link to where I have that on my blog if the recipe was successful. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching my very first YouTube video. Oh my God, I can't believe I did it. Thank you. And I hope you had fun watching this, and I look forward to doing more of these. My hair's still looking pretty good even after being in quarantine. I mean, you can tell that the highlights are coming out, but like, that's not so bad. And I'm sorry I'm shaking the table, but I'm gonna get better at that. We'll edit that out in post.